What is going down, Sourdough Squad? I hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday today. I cannot believe that we are here. The weekend is upon us, right around the corner. This week flew by, guys. Like, this week flew. I don't know about you guys, but it just went really fast. And here we are. We find ourselves a couple days away from the NFC Championship game. And boy, does it feel fantastic. Let's go. We see the Sourdough Squad in the chat. We see you guys. Let's go. Let's go. So we got a lot to talk about, of course. We've barely talked about any football this week. We've been dealing with battling other wars up until this point, but we're going to talk a little bit more football today. We're going to talk a little bit more scheme. We're going to talk a little bit more X's and O's and some of the things that go into how the 49ers need to attack this Rams team and how they do that. Obviously, the very, very big news that we have all been monitoring this week that has surrounded our boy, the GOAT, Trent Williams. And the 49ers are practicing right now. And from everything that we've heard, Trent Williams is not practicing today. So that will be the third practice. That will be the third practice this week that Trent Williams is not a part of. He was seen at practice in a jersey. So I don't know if that also means he was maybe working off to the side, things like that. But it doesn't appear to the open portion to practice that he will be available. Those are from reports like ESPN's Nick Wagner. I believe I also saw one from David Lombardi as well. It does appear that Trent Williams, the silverback, is trending towards another game time decision against the Rams. And if we remember week 18, this is exactly how it played out. It's almost like a carbon copy week of week 18 against the Rams because the same situation occurred leading up to that game. Trent didn't make any of the practices all week. And then they tried to test the ankle pre-game. They talked about the situation, how it was a legitimate pre-game situation where they went out, they tested it, and Trent he knows his body and knows what his body will and won't let him do. And they said on the field before they're going to play the Rams, they just looked at Colton McKivitz and like, all right, you're up. No pressure. No pressure, Colton McKivitz. But as we know, Colton McKivitz came in and he did a pretty darn good job. He held his own for the most part. And so there is a little bit of optimism knowing that we've actually already been in this exact situation and we came out the other side. So there is some optimism there, especially with Colton McKivitz, how he played against Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, some of those guys up front. The Rams have a pretty darn good defensive line. They really do. And can you think of more valuable reps that Colton McKivitz could have gotten week 18? Colton McKivitz was a guy who didn't make the roster. He didn't make it coming out of training camp. He was released, added to the practice squad. He's been on the practice squad the whole time. He was a draft pick for the San Francisco 49ers. There's a bit of a surprise cut in training camp for some of the guys internally. But redemption, week 18, and who knows? We could be relying on Colton McKivitz coming up here pretty soon against the Rams. So, like we said, the positive news there is that he's done it, and we've seen it, and that makes us feel a little bit better. And we'll look at some of the film. We'll look at some of Colton's reps in a little bit, and we'll get into all that. while the San Francisco 49ers wrap up practice. They are also going to be having a press conference at about 2:15. So we are going to try to be synced with that. So about 2:15, we will be heading over to the press conference and doing our thing, and we will take it from there. But let's stay focused on this matchup against the Rams. Clearly, they have a very high-powered offense with Matthew Stafford, OBJ, Van Jefferson, and of course Cooper Kupp, who's the Triple Crown winner of the NFL this past year, put up all the stats in the world for the Rams. But the Rams are a little bit banged up on the offensive line. They had no Andrew Whitworth, their left tackle, against the Bucs. We're going to find out if that is going to be the case here coming up. But that could be a slight benefit. I mean, both teams could be going into this game without their left tackles. If you're going into a game without your starting left tackle, that's a benefit for any team on the other side. So that is going to be something to watch from both teams. Andrew Whitworth, left tackle for the Rams, will he play? Will Trent Williams, left tackle for the 49ers, play? And as we know, there is good edge play on both sides. Von Miller, Aaron Donald plays out on the edge sometimes, and as well, Leonard Floyd. So they know how to get after it. Can't sell the Rams short just because the 49ers have had recent success against them, or long-term success, however you want to look at it. But I think with how we are trying to view this game, we're looking at Week 18, and we don't care about anything else that happened before that. Even Week 10, to be honest. Even Week 10. This team is a different team that played the Rams Week 18 than when they beat the Rams 31-10 in Week 10. They're a different team. So this game, I think, is going to be reminiscent. We're going to finally see some scheme too. I think that's going to be one of the positives, is that when we go back and we watch that Green Bay Packer game, there just was not a lot that either offense could really execute based on the conditions, the weather, the cold, the snow. It was a very difficult situation for both Packers and 49ers to get any kind of offense going, any kind of production. When the field's like that, it changes how you move on the field. So the Packers game, and honestly, I'm kind of thought about it, like that could actually be kind of an advantage from a bit of a scheme standpoint for the 49ers, because if you really think about it, when the Rams go to watch that tape, what are they watching for? Like, they're watching a pared down offense. They're watching a extremely they still did a lot of what they were trying to do, but at the end of the day, you just could only do so much in those conditions. So what you put on tape in that game is honestly not representative of what the offense can actually do. Whereas on the flip side, you had to see the Rams sell out against the Bucs to get that win coming down to the wire. And there could be some nuggets on there for the 49ers coaching staff to pick apart, things that they want to do. Obviously, we saw, Matthew Stafford's wife talking about, the biggest FU you could send is hitting a dart on, zero whatever blitz. Like, okay, noted. Meanwhile, on the other side, 49ers offense really wasn't able to get going against the Packers. So what is there to take away? Not a whole lot. So I really do, when I look at this game, I'm kind of looking at the Dallas game as the benchmark for scheme, the way the offense is going to operate, that being the 49ers offense, and what they're going to do. Obviously, when we look at the Packers game, the defense absolutely dominated that game. They gave up the first scoring drive, and then that was it. Fred Warner talked about it at the podium. I believe it was D'Amico Ryans talked about it at the podium yesterday. He said that when they came off the field, Fred Warner was talking to every single position group before D'Amico Ryans could even address anyone. He had already spoken and basically rallied the entire defensive unit after the first scoring drive against the Packers because they said that it wasn't like they were getting flat out beat by the Packers. They weren't playing their brand of football. They weren't playing assignment sound football. And that's why they were getting beat. They weren't playing their keys properly. They weren't in position and they weren't doing what they were supposed to do, which is what, when we talk about beating yourselves, that's what that is. That's beating yourself by not doing your job. So they figured that out quickly. And D'Amico Ryans credited Fred Warner for getting the entire defense on the same page, the entire defense responding to Fred Warner. And the defense balled, man. The defense won that game. Obviously, the point differential that we had on special teams was huge. The blocked kick from Jimmy Ward. You had the block punt, the scoop and score by Talanoa. But we referenced that Kwaski Tart play, right? Kwaski running all the way across the field to break up that play and do all that type of stuff. Fred Warner just being a buzzsaw literally everywhere on the field. You had great coverage on the guys on the back end. Defense did their job. And I anticipate we're going to get more of that. I think the defense, we know the recipe with the defense. It's get after the passer with your defensive line. Allow your linebackers to roam, play in coverage because you have guys like Fred Warner, Azeez Al-Shaair, Drake Greenlaw, which are probably the fastest linebacker core in the NFL. It has to be. When it comes to sideline speed, reaction speed, physicality, even, the 49ers linebackers are insane. So if you can keep the 49ers linebackers playing in coverage, playing in the middle of the field, and you can get after the passer with 4 or 5 defensive linemen, that's beautiful. And we've seen the 49ers do that, especially with the emergence of Eric Armstead in the playoffs, Nick Bosa, and you go down the laundry list. Is he speaking now? They said they were going to do the thing at 2:15. Hold on one second. Are they really doing it now? Sorry. I'm trying to sync this with the press conferences, but I heard that should be going at 2:15. So I got my eye on that. Okay, thank you. I got my eye on 2:15. So going into this game on the defensive side of it, it's a lot of the same. This defensive line, if they continue to get pressure, if they continue to stress the offensive line, that is going to put Matthew Stafford in a position to be uncomfortable. And I think that we have seen that although Matthew Stafford is very capable and very good, very talented, when you get in his face and when you start pressuring him and when you start making things ugly for him, he doesn't always respond the best. So that's the goal, to have this defensive line just hunt Matthew Stafford. Waves and waves of different personnel coming in to just dominate. Obviously, I think it suits the 49ers to make the Rams one-dimensional. I think it suits them best to be able to completely clamp the run game. Like we've seen in the last couple weeks, we saw them, Dallas was not able to get their run game going. They made Dak one-dimensional. With the Packers, they weren't really able to get their run game going, made them one-dimensional. And when you can make offenses one-dimensional, you get them out of what they want to do. You just get them out of what they want to do. You get them out of their game plan. Guys like McVay, they want to run the football. They want to control clock. They want to be able to set up their play action game and do all those types of things. That's what they're trying to do. And when you can make them one-dimensional and then start affecting them with pass rush, that's how you get that guy. That's how you get Matthew Stafford off his spot. So that's the goal. And then you have guys like Ambry Thomas, Emmanuel Mosley, and K'Wan Williams, Kwaski, Ward, just playing coverage on the back end. Again, if you can get to Stafford, especially if he's working on that silent count, if Stafford's working on that silent count, then it's going to be a good day. I think the 49ers defense is absolutely prepared. I have zero concerns about D'Amico Ryans. Ambry Thomas, as we know, he is trending towards being back. So Ambry Thomas will be back on the field with Emmanuel Mosley and K'Wan Williams. Fantastic news. 49ers have their entire linebacking core healthy. Safeties are healthy. Defensive line are as healthy as they can be at this point. We're going to need the defense. Defense is going to have to step up. It's a high-powered offense. OBJ, Van Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, obviously. Higbee. Don't sleep on Higbee. Higbee's good. I always thought Higbee was like a little mediocre, but the last couple games I've seen of Higbee, he's still not like great. I don't think he's a great tight end, but I think he's very capable. So don't sleep on Higbee either. But again, if the 49ers can completely clamp Sony Michel, Cam Akers, and not allow that run game to get going, then the 49ers have a massive opportunity by making this team one-dimensional. And on top of that, if they get behind in the game, that also will then make them one-dimensional. We want to get them out of what they want to do. That's the entire goal for the defense. And I think D'Amico Ryans, the way he manipulates schemes, the way he can see matchups, the way that he can bait and disguise, I feel pretty confident with the defense. Right? I think we can I don't know what the chat feels like. I'll ask you guys this. Do you guys feel more confident about the offense or the defense at this point? Going into this game, the NFC Championship game, one game away from the Super Bowl, which side of the football gives you more confidence? Is it the offense or is it the defense? Because I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of trending towards defense at this point. When you look at the entire body of work of this year, the defense really only kind of has one. I mean, that's a lie. There's a couple blemishes, but overall, the defense has been clamps. They have kept this team in multiple games when the offense has been struggling, sputtering, and guess what? We're gonna need more of that. Looks like you guys agree. Jason says defense for sure, but offense is due to show out. Exactly. Jesus says just saw a longboarder get wrecked by a car. Probably one of the best Jimmy Garoppolo tweets of all time. Mando says defense. Let's see. Defense from Steph. Sean's 35-40 runs. Ooh, dude. If the 49ers get 35 runs, they're winning the game. Have to. But I think you can see. I think we all agree. I haven't seen an offense yet. Oh, here's a both. It's the closest we've got. Defense. Crazy says the defense has lots of blemishes, but the offense has a ton more. Defense and special teams. Defense, you guys have grit and the snarl to you. Oh, yeah, they do. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Make sure to like this video. Smash that like button. Get these likes to the moon. I see someone talking about the hat. This was the hat that we did on the unboxing yesterday on the live. If you want to grab your hat, go to residency.com. Use a promo code, the SF Niners. Get you any gear you want. But yeah, so I think we're all kind of on the same page there. Does look like we're all kind of trending towards defense not being a huge issue or something that we're like, at least from like a lot of talk about mental stuff going into this game, right? I think mentally the fan base feels pretty confident in the defense because I think one of the things that we've seen from them is maybe if they bend a little bit, they have shown that they can kind of weather the storm and come back, make some big plays, doing all that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff. Oh, Steph. Kyle Shanahan has averaged over 40 points in his NFC championships dating back to his time as OC with the Falcons. I mean, I predicted last week's game was going to be a low scoring game. This game does feel like it is going to be kind of a barn burner. It does feel like it's, although while I think we do feel confident with the defense and the defense is going to give the opportunity to the offense, I think the trend that we've seen with the offense is it's hit or miss, right? We don't necessarily know. They seem to play their best as a unit when their backs are against the wall. Whether that's a comeback situation, sometimes like Dallas, they started out perfect. But consistency in offense is something that they are still fighting for and trying to obtain. And that's the craziest thing, man. Like, I think that is the craziest thing of all, is that the 49ers have made it to the NFC Championship game to this point without, I'm trying to think, like, maybe that Rams game against Week 10 might have been the most complete victory that this team had all year. Because when I start going back and I start of other games and other performances by the offense, we know how it is. We see them great in a lot of spots, but 60 minutes, you hear coaches say that all the time. 60 minutes of ball, play 60 minutes from start to stop, consistent 60 minutes. 49ers are still trying to obtain that. And if they hit 60 minutes of just pedal to the metal, like locked in, just I don't even know how to explain it. Like, because there's a different vibe to the offense when they are locked in versus when they're not. You can actually feel it. And if we get 60 minutes of them feeling it, whoo, boy. Oh, boy. But how do we do that? It all starts with the run game. It really does. It all starts with the run game. It starts with the guys up front. Big old Daniel Brunskill. Another game of his life. Another game of his life against good old Aaron Donald. One of the things I've kind of been eavesdropping on Rams press conferences. I've been kind of eavesdropping on Rams press conferences. What the common theme around Rams press conferences are, Aaron Donald's talking more to the team. Apparently, Aaron Donald isn't a big team guy. When they were talking about him, they're like, yeah, he normally just sticks with his group, D-line group. He's not a big rah-rah guy, like pull the whole team together guy. But they are saying that this week he is talking more. He's being more vocal to the entire defensive group. Sounds like Aaron Donald is feeling the effects of the NFC Championship game coming up, and he's trying to get everyone ready to go. But guess what? Brunskill's coming. Watch out, baby. So I'm really, really excited about all that good stuff. Um, it's a lot of fun. Let's look at some tape though. One of my favorite things about eavesdropping on the press conferences though, one of my favorite things about eavesdropping on the press conferences was listening to Jalen Ramsey. If you guys have any time and you go listen to Jalen Ramsey, if you go and actually, I'm not gonna lie, like I haven't really listened to Jalen Ramsey speak that much, other than his kind of stupid sound bites that he has sometimes. But listening to Jalen and the way he was speaking, I was like, you know what? I kind of like you. I kind of like you, Jalen. I liked what he was saying. I felt like he was giving really solid answers. I didn't see any cockiness. Felt very humble. Had good energy and all that stuff. And I came away watching the press conference like, maybe I like him a little bit more than I thought I did. But the very last question that Jalen Ramsey was asked was specifically about being physical in the run game to stop specifically Debo Samuel. Because what the reporter cited is that I think Jalen Ramsey against any other team in the playoff, he listed this number as a low number of rushing yards that were like compiled on him. But he brought up some stat, and I could be wrong and repeating it incorrectly. But he's like, Debo Samuel's rushed for like 290 yards on you. Like, what is your plan for, stopping the physicality of Debo Samuel? That dude's entire mood changed. His entire mood changed. The question and how it was asked again was like, how are you stopping this guy that you have not been able to stop because he's more physical than you? Which was essentially the question. And his entire mood changed. And I was like, oh. Like again, we're big into the psychology of this week, man. This is a big mental warfare week. This is big. Leading into the game, the quotes, the sound bites, all of it. It's big with the mental aspect of it. We all know these guys are physical specimens. It's the mental. We're in the mental side of it. Who's going to last longer through adversity? And when they said that to him, like, and here's him just getting rocked by Debo, just getting rocked. He's running full speed. This is peak physicality Jalen Ramsey, and he got rocked. His best isn't good enough against Debo Samuel. And when he was asked that question, you could see it in his soul. And to me, when you look at football players, when you look at alphas, when you look at these guys who, man, it's man versus man, and you get asked specifically about, hey, how are you going to stop this guy that you can't stop? And his mood changed, and he looked. I was like, oh my goodness, Debo Samuel is living rent free in Jalen Ramsey's head. And I can't wait, because we know the 49ers are going to be physical. The 49ers don't have to talk about being physical. The Rams do. I watched multiple press conferences. They are like, oh, what do you guys have to do against the 40? Oh, we got to be physical. Well, yeah, duh. Like, but that's a response. Being physical is a response to the Rams. Being physical for the San Francisco 49ers, like, that's our brand. That's who we are. We don't have to match someone else being physical, because that's just who we are as a group. Odds on this team. You now get Debo Samuel doing all his stuff, man. This is one of my favorite plays of this game. Just beautiful. Beautiful. And one of the reasons why I didn't want to show this game, or this particular play, is because we get a little Colton McKivitz highlight. Watch number 68. Big 68. Who's he going against? Aaron Donald. Where's Aaron Donald, bro? Aaron Donald's on his face. Colton just can't block. So this is a double to backer concept between Lincoln and Colton. And as you can see, Colton is going to the linebacker based on Aaron Donald going down. He gets him down on the ground, immediately goes to linebacker. But you get the beautiful plant of Colton McKivitz right here, smashing Aaron Donald onto the ground. And then you just get Lakin jump on top of him. But this play is really made by George Kittle right here. This play is made because of George Kittle. I talk about this concept all the time from center's position. Centers, they go to a spot. They're not going to a man, especially in these zone concepts. In these kind of zone gap scheme concepts, they're going to a spot, not necessarily a man. So you can see he's stepping this direction no matter what. And sometimes it's just how it works. When you get a defensive line who's outside shade and he takes a hard step inside when you're taking a hard step outside, it just puts you out of leverage sometimes. It's just how it works playing interior offensive line. But look at George Kittle. George Kittle is not blocking 91. George Kittle is blocking Leonard Floyd. This is his responsibility on the play. But because George Kittle has the wherewithal to understand that if he's going to have a guy cross his face, he's got to take him. So George Kittle gets this block. They run this, again, this beautiful inside, like, I don't even know, dude. You got both these guys blocking out. You got George pulling across. You got Juwan Jennings blocking down. And then you just got Deebo Samuel doing the rest. This is the recipe right here. This scheme, manipulation, all of this is a big part of it. Big part of what the 49ers need to do against this team. I also think this man right here is going to have a big game. Obviously, we look at Deebo Samuel to be the breakout MVP type guy, but what Elijah Mitchell has been doing, starting when he returned from injury, I swear to you, him sitting down, him being hurt for those 3 weeks, Jeff Wilson running, because one of the Jeff Wilson's best aspects is his vision, and that was where I think Elijah was lacking the most. But when he came back, when Elijah Mitchell came back, he came back different. And it's been fantastic. It's been absolutely fantastic. The way he runs, again, he's so powerful. He's so strong. He has speed. He has the cuts. Again, breaks 91, has the ability to put the foot in the ground, cut back against the grain to get leverage on 94, then drops the shoulder into number 4, drives number 4. Like, this dude's a battering ram. This dude is a battering ram. So I'm just really excited, man. And if we continue to get Jimmy playing, we just need Jimmy to do certain things. Like, if I think Jimmy continued to be efficient over the middle of the field, he had some throws in this game where he was really showing off his arm talent. And when I say arm talent, like, he has one of the quickest releases I've probably ever seen. And we can say a lot of things that, maybe Jimmy Garoppolo isn't totally, the best at. But when you talk about quick release, I think Jimmy Garoppolo might be up there with some of the best, because he can whip that ball out. He really, really can. And if we can get him being accurate, hitting with timing, doing those types of things, of course, biggest thing, take care of the football, right? Take care of the football. That's what we want. But if we can get Jimmy to be efficient, do his thing, play the games with this team, hit throws like this, like, if Jimmy can come out and play like this again, limit turnovers, take care of the football, and put the ball on guys, The 49ers have a really good opportunity. The 49ers have a really, really good opportunity. So we're going to find out what clearly is going to go down. But it's the combination of physicality on offense. It's the combination of scheme. It's the combination of personnel. It's the combination of counters off of things that don't look the same. Again, you got a little hook and ladder right here, little backyard football right here, pulling out all the stops, man. Like this, and I'm excited about this game because we didn't get a lot of scheme against the Packers, like I already talked about. So I'm super, super excited. Super, super excited about this and what they're going to do this game. Let's look at, so I got a 17-15. When we're talking about scheme, this one says Galaxy Brain. So Galaxy Brain is normally a Kyle scheme thing. So let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. So this has typically been an outside run in some instances. So what we would get in this particular formation when you have Deebo Samuel in the backfield, you have Jeff Wilson who you would line up in this like flanker position. They would bring him across and they would run like this could look like a counter here, but Deebo cut this thing back right inside against the grain. And again, just taking advantage of what the defense is going to flow to. And you just take advantage of it. Similar thing going on here. This is probably my favorite. If this is it, this is my favorite play. Yes. These are my favorite concepts. Designed to look like outside runs. These plays are designed to stretch the linebackers, get the linebacker flowing to one direction. See that? See the flow? This is how they win. The biggest thing about offensive line play, and when you hear gap schemes is just blocking leverage. It's not necessarily blocking a man like head on. It's blocking the side of him. If you can get to the side of him, that's why Daniel Brunskill is so good in this scheme. Power schemes, you're like kind of go head up on people. In gap schemes, you're blocking leverage. You're blocking like the left side, the right side. You're trying to beat him to a side, and then you're working leverage off that. But the point is, when you have pre-snap motion, you have Kyle Juszczyk, because linebackers are keying on juice. They're keying on motion. You see how the motion affects them. You see first two linebackers are keying on first steps, just like O linemen. First two steps take you to your path. But this is how they screw everything up. This looks like outside pitch, but it's not. It's an inside run to opposite side A gap. Like, it's beautiful. And this is what I think the 49ers are going to have to do on offense again. Just getting back into playing the chess game, 4D chess against the Rams, doing all this stuff to make it look like we're doing one thing, like, oh, this is outside pitch. Look at the flow of the linebackers. But look at the cutback lane because of the pre-snap manipulation. It puts Brunskill in the right spot. It puts Lincoln in the right spot. You get great blocks here by Mack and McKivitz. Compton gets his hat on a guy. If Compton could get his head around, there might be enough room for Elijah to sneak through this. But overall, what we're talking about is design and scheme. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a lot of this. And then this is how you start working play action off of it. Then you start building, like, I'm so excited to see this offense this week because, like I said, we didn't really get to see it last week. We really didn't get to see it last week. And now we get to see it. Now we do. And I'm very excited for that. Very excited for that. What's Luke saying? Luke says, if Jimmy has success early and often, we will run the ball easy. And this is where the casual fans can't credit Jimmy with our win rate. The casual fan can only quantify that stats and touchdowns. Yes, I think the biggest disconnect between the Jimmy Garoppolo arguments is that football is more than production. Like it's hard for people who haven't. That's the only thing when it comes to playing. Like you can quantify that. Like I can quantify that when Kyle Juszczyk, when George Kittle, when Fred Warner, when Nick Bosa come out and say the things that they say about him, I know what they're saying. I know what that means. I know what that means in the locker room. I know how that affects the entire team. I know how important that is. But a lot of people hear that, and all they're hearing is how. All they hear is, how can you call this guy the best leader? He almost threw like 3 picks against the Packers. And so that's the disconnect. The disconnect is between the production and what football is. Football is played by humans, and you need leaders. And right now, this team plays for Jimmy Garoppolo. That's how it works. We understand that Jimmy is limited in certain areas, but where he's limited in, let's say, that area, he's so strong as a leader, and you cannot deny that. And that goes far towards winning. Like having a winning mentality is a huge part of winning. And when you hear the 49ers talk about winning, they talk about Jimmy. They talk about his mentality. Now, although he might put them in some bad positions at times and do things where you're like, what are we doing? Why are we doing that? Why did we make that throw? Why did we sail that throw? Like, trust me, if you were here during the moments when we did lives during the game and you saw my live reactions, like, you know how I've thought about the game. You know how I would go up and down with Jimmy too. Like, I understand that aspect, but I also understand what these players are talking about. These players are talking about something that people that aren't in that locker room, that aren't around this team every day, that aren't in that building from Monday to Saturday, they have no idea. And so they can't quantify it. So when they quantify something, they have to do something else. Looks like the presser is live, I believe. Let's take a look. Is it live? So I think the presser's live. Oh, yeah. Looks like the presser's live. So we've been trying to sync this with the presser. Might be doing a live on the other side of this. TBD at this point. But I think when we look at the overall game plan, I think it's going to be very similar to what we've seen against the Rams week 18, very similar to what we saw against Dallas, at least from the offensive side. Take care of the football, run it, use scheme manipulation. That is this offense, is to be able to manipulate the defense with pre-snap motion, making plays and dressing them up to look like one thing and countering off of those. That is going to be the key to success for the offense. Obviously, efficient Jimmy Garoppolo helps that. Efficient Jimmy Garoppolo helps push that in the right direction, but we've also seen this team win time and time again with Jimmy making mistakes. Does it make for a more stressful game? Yes. But we've also seen the flip side where he does have the ability to come back, came back week 18. He has that ability. And that's part of the leadership that they talk about. Might put him in the hole, but he also has the ability to get him out the hole. Yes, sir. I got to get that Jimmy G. I got to get that Feels Great Baby tattoo. The 49ers win the Super Bowl. Got to do it. Absolutely got to do it. So I have pretty supreme confidence in the 49ers overall. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, I think we understand from a production standpoint, it can be volatile at times, but his leadership is not. His response to adversity is not. So this team has belief in him, and that's all you want. At the end of the day, that's all we could ask for. You want your team to be so bought in to your team leader that this is what it's like. This is a good thing. Like, I understand it might not be the Josh Allen that they're bought into, it might not be a Patrick Mahomes that they're bought into, but they are bought in. They are bought into Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's exactly what you want. You want your team to play for each other and have each other's back, and that's, I think, why we've seen this team be able to come back and win games. So we're going to see how it plays out. We're going to see what happens, but I think it's going to be a lot of the same. I think it's going to be high scoring game. I think it's going to be all that. A lot of scheme, defense doing their job, playing lights out, and the offense being methodical, efficient, creative, and physical, nasty. We know how they get down. And that's it. If they can do that, and the biggest thing is limiting turnovers. If they can limit turnovers on offense and convert third downs and run the ball 30 plus times a game, they're winning. Like, that's just how it works. If they can be efficient, they can manage their stuff and do what they need to do, limit turnovers, convert third downs. We're that close. We're that close to being to the Super Bowl. So let's hop into this press conference. I'm about to hop in. I'm not sure if it's officially started. It probably has, but let's hop into this. I'm going to hop into this press conference. And like I said, potentially doing a live on the other side of it. So keep an eye out. Remember, hit that bell. It will notify you of any lives that are set and all that good stuff. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, do all that good stuff. And let's go. I'm going to hop into this press so you guys can join me if you want. Let's see what they're talking about. I believe this is going to be our last presser of the week. So let's get in there. I'll see you guys over there. Peace.